Everyone, and welcome to my channel, and a very happy new year to you all. While I'm filming this, it's currently New Year's Day, and I had a really nice kind of chilled out, stayed at home New Year's Eve, which was lovely. So I hope you all had a lovely New Year's Eve as well, and that 2018 is a very good year for all of us. So in today's video I'm looking back at some of my favourite products from 2017. It's mostly makeup, but I'm going to call it my beauty favourites of 2017 because I've got a couple of other little bits in there that I wanted to mention, and all the makeup products I'm wearing on my face right now as well, so you get to see most of them, what they look like to an extent. So let's stop rambling and get straight into the products. So I'm going to start off with a hair care product. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you'll probably have heard me talk about this before. This is the Sacha Juan, I think that's how you say it, but I'm guessing, and it is their hair repair, and this is basically the best conditioner I've ever used. I suffer from pretty frizzy hair, and since using this it's just made such a big difference. I mean, it still is it's a bit frizzy, but nothing compared to what it was before I started using this. It's quite a pricey product for a conditioner, but I have just found it works so much better than any other cheaper ones I have tried. So this has been pretty much the only conditioner I've used this year, and it is really great. I really love it. And now for a couple of skincare bits. I've been experimenting a lot with my skincare this year, so a lot of my products I haven't really found a favourite. But one thing I have is my cleanser. This is the Indie Lee Rose Hip Cleanser, and again, like the other product, I've talked about this on my channel loads of times before, but it is just the best cleanser I have ever used. Again, it is quite pricey. I think it's over £30, so it is an expensive cleanser, but for me personally, it has made such a big difference to my skin, and if you have rosacea like I do, I definitely recommend trying this because my rosacea is so much better since I have been using this. I think I started using it kind of the first couple of months of 2017, and yeah, my skin is so much better. I do have a skincare video I did a few months ago, so I'll try and link that down below somewhere if you are interested in more of what this is like. And another skincare product I have loved this year is this Simple Clear Skin Oil Balancing Moisturiser. And I've tried a fair few moisturisers this year, but this one I just keep going back to. My skin has kind of changed quite a lot throughout this year. It's become more oily throughout the year, which some might say is a bad thing, but for me personally, I think my skin just looks a bit healthier. I've got more oil in my skin, but it's healthier to me, so that's the main thing. And this moisturiser I really like. Obviously it's the oil balancing moisturiser, so it's not too heavy, so if you've got oily skin, this is one I'd recommend trying. It's very hydrating, but it's not too kind of greasy or oily where it leaves my skin feeling greasy. So yeah, I really like this one, and it's pretty affordable as well, so that is always a bonus. So now I'm going to move on to the makeup, and I've just got my makeup bag here with all my favourite products in it, and I'm just going to kind of dip in and pull products out at random. So I think my favourite eyeshadow palette this year has to be the Soph by Makeup Revolution palette. It's such a good palette, especially for the price. I'm pretty sure this is only £10, and the colours in here are incredible, and the pigmentation is so good, especially considering that this is only a £10 palette. I just really love it. It came out a bit later in the year, so it's not my most used palette of the year. I think that will be probably my Morphe 350 that I've used the most, but since I've had this palette, this is generally the one I reach for most often. I just love the kind of versatility. It's got so many different colours. It's obviously got a few pops of colour and so many warm tones, and I love warm tones. I know not everyone does, but me personally, I really like warm toned eyeshadows. So yeah, I think Soph and Makeup Revolution did an absolutely brilliant job with this, and I really love this palette, and I don't know what I did without it before. Staying on the eyeshadow theme, the best eyeshadow primer I've used this year is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure I've even tried another eyeshadow primer this year. I got this for Christmas last year and it's lasted me forever. I really did not expect this to last me like a year, and I use it every single time I do my makeup. But yeah, for me personally, I always use an eyeshadow primer. I've got quite oily eyelids, so I just find it is a necessary step in my makeup routine, and I have found that this just really locks my eyeshadows into place, and I very rarely get any creasing when I'm using this under my eyeshadow. And my eyeshadow always creases if I don't use a primer, so I really enjoy this primer. Now for face primer, I think my favourite of the year has to go to the Professional by Benefit. I've tried quite a few different primers this year actually, but this one I always kind of reach for when I really need my makeup to stay in place and I want my skin to look as flawless as possible. I do tend to get a bit of settling in my pores on my nose with my foundation, but this just stops it completely with the majority of foundations, and I haven't found a primer so far that works as well as this one, so this one is my favourite. Now for foundation, I think my favourite this year has to be the Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation. They do two different types of this, but this isn't the serum one, this is the normal foundation one, and this is the old packaging. I've had this one quite a while. I think there's new packaging now, but I'm hoping the formula hasn't changed because I really like the formula of this. I've got it on my face right now. I just really love the finish. It's not the most full coverage foundation, but I love how natural it looks, but at the same time it still has a decent amount of coverage. Earlier in the year when I was struggling more with my rosacea, I did need to use a bit of concealer with it to cover up like the rosacea on my cheeks, but now I use a bit of colour corrector and this and it covers it fine. It is a fairly dewy finish, so I do always need to set it, but I find it lasts really well on me, even though I am a bit oily. And yeah, I just really love how this makes my skin look. In terms of powder, my favourite powder I have used this year is the RCMA No Colour Powder, and I predominantly just use this under my eyes, but if needs be I do set the rest of my face with it, but I tend to use a bit less of a matte powder to do the rest of my face. But this has been life-changing for me. I could not find a powder that would stop my under eye concealer from creasing. I tried quite a few like HD powders, these loose powders, pressed powders, expensive powders, cheap powders, but this one is the only one I've found so far that actually works. It was a toss-up between this and the Laura Mercier one that I was going to try, but this one is obviously a lot cheaper than the Laura Mercier one, so I went for this and I'm so glad I did. I know a lot of people have talked about it, I'm sure you've heard people talking about this before, but I just find it really locks in my concealer under my eyes, and my creasing is not as half as bad as it used to be since I've been using this. And speaking of concealer, this is a bit of a surprise one for me. It is the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer, and I don't really hear many people talk about this at all, but I think it is great. When I first tried it, I didn't like it, and I think that was because I was used to using Shape Tape, which is obviously super matte and full coverage, and this is a lot more natural looking. But I found, especially under my eyes, where I've been experimenting with stuff to stop creasing under my eyes, this just creases so much less than my Shape Tape. And a lot of people say that Shape Tape doesn't crease under their eyes, but it does for me. I love it as kind of a really full coverage concealer, but under my eyes, for me personally, Shape Tape is too heavy and creases too much. So yeah, this one I find to be a bit of a lighter consistency. It's still got a decent amount of coverage, not super full coverage, but I personally under my eyes don't need as much coverage as the Shape Tape or things like that gives. So this is enough for me, and it creases much less than any other concealer I have tried. So yeah, I didn't like it when I first tried it, but I kind of kept experimenting with it, and it's pretty much the only concealer I use now, especially for under my eyes. So this is my favourite one for 2017. And staying on the concealer kind of train, this is my favourite colour corrector that I've been using this year. Well, not this year, last year. I keep forgetting it's 2018. It's probably going to take me about 6 months to get used to it. But yeah, anyway, my favourite colour corrector in 2017 was the Barry M colour correcting wand, and this obviously is the green one. Like I said, and I'm sure some of you know anyway, I suffer from rosacea, so I get quite a lot of redness. It's much better now than it used to be, but I still get a bit of redness, especially on my cheeks and my chin. So I find a green colour corrector really handy to kind of neutralise that redness before I go in with my foundation, and this is the one I have reached for the most. I find it's a really kind of nice consistency, it blends out nicely, and it's not too crazy green. I find some colour correctors are a bit too intense, but this one I find is the right level of kind of intensity and just really kind of evens out my skin nicely. And again, Barry M is very affordable, so that is my favourite product for 2017. Now moving on to kind of face and cheek products. My favourite bronzer this year is definitely the Benefit Hoola bronzer. I know this is by no means a new product, but I discovered it this year. I kind of was looking for a decent bronzer, and obviously I'd heard so many people rave about this, and I can really see why. It's just such a nice kind of colour on my skin. It blends out perfectly. It's not patchy in the slightest, and yeah, I just really love this bronzer. I really don't know what I did before I had this, so yeah, this one is great. And I've skipped out on including a contour product because my favourite contour I think is discontinued, unfortunately. It's the Kiko little cream contour thing that I use occasionally in my videos, but I didn't really want to include that in the favourites because I can't find it available anywhere anymore, which is a shame. And I haven't found another one I like as much yet, so hopefully in 2018 I'll find another palette or kit that works as well as the Kiko one, and hopefully before my wedding as well, that would be handy. So moving on to blush, I think my favourite and my most used this year has to be this little Tarte blush. It is the Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in Risque, and it's just a really kind of nice kind of nudie pink colour. It's not too intense. I'm not a very intense blush person. I like it to look very kind of soft and subtle, and yeah, I've probably reached for this one the most this year. Again, Tarte is quite a pricey brand, but I mean, I love Tarte. I think it's a great brand, and honestly I've used this so many times this year, and it barely looks like I've touched it. I mean, all the kind of patterns still there in the pan, so I think this will probably last me forever. Now for highlighter, this is a very recent discovery of mine. I think I picked it up in a Black Friday sale at the duty free in the airport, because the week of Black Friday kind of fell around when I was going to Tenerife, so I just kind of picked this up on a whim and I absolutely love it. It is the Smashbox Spotlight palette in Pearl, and it's got 3 really gorgeous highlights, but this one on the end here especially is absolutely beautiful. I've got it on now, and it's just a really kind of glowy highlight. It's not a glittery one. This one here on this end has got a bit more glitter to it, but this one here is just such a kind of intense blinding glow, but it's not a glitter, which I really like. I mean, when I'm in the mood I don't mind a glittery highlight, but it's all about the glow. Like, I love it. I think it's great. I haven't been using it for that long, but it has very quickly become my absolute favourite highlighter. Now for a couple of brow products. I think my favourite brow product of the year definitely goes to this, which is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It was a toss-up between this and my Freedom Brow Pomade, but if I think about it, I've probably reached for this one more than the pomade, so I picked this for my favourite. I really like the little pencil because it's such a kind of precise tip. It's really easy to kind of get a precise looking brow, and it's not too intense, and it's just kind of the right consistency. I find it really easy to apply. It's not too kind of creamy or anything, and yeah, sometimes when products are too creamy I find them difficult to apply in terms of brows. But this one I think is really, really great, and I've thought about buying kind of more expensive brow pencils to try, but I don't know if I'd ever want to, because I mean NYX is pretty affordable and I can't see how much better a brow pencil could get. And for brow gel, my favourite has been the Eyeko Brow Gel. Not a very creative name, but it does what it says on the tin. So this is quite a tinted brow gel, and it really, really adds kind of some texture back into my brows after I've applied like my pencil or my pomade or whatever I'm using on that particular day. And it is probably pretty much the only brow gel I've used throughout this year. So I've not had a lot to compare it to, but I haven't really wanted to stray from it that much. You do have to be a little bit careful with application sometimes. You definitely have to start off in the middle of the brow, because if you go straight in kind of in the centre, it puts too much product on those brow hairs. But apart from that, I think it's really great, and yeah, it lasts a really long time as well, and yeah, I really liked this product. Now for liner and lashes. So there's two main kind of pencil eyeliners I've really liked this year. So this is the e.l.f. waterproof gel eyeliner pencil, and I normally use this in my tight line, occasionally in my waterline, but mostly I just tight line. And it's not completely waterproof. I do get a little bit of transfer. I've not found a product for me personally yet that doesn't transfer, but out of everything I've tried, this has been the best one this year. It's just a really, really intense black, and it lasts a pretty decent amount of time. My eyes get pretty watery, so it does have its work cut out, but yeah, I think this is a really, really good product, and it's very, very cheap as well, so that's a great eyeliner. And I also love the NYX Wonder Pencil in light, and I use this all the time in my waterline just to kind of open up and brighten up my eyes a bit. And yeah, I just find this one's a really good one. Again, really long lasting, and it's just kind of the right shade. It's not too light where it's too kind of intense and stark. So yeah, I think this one is a really, really great, and again, affordable nude skin toned liner. And now for liquid liner, another product from e.l.f. I absolutely love this e.l.f. liquid liner. I can't actually remember what the name of it is, but I'll try and link everything down below anyway. I'm pretty sure this is only about £3, but it is by far the best liquid liner I've tried this year. It's just really, really black. I really, really like the brush. It's very precise, which is the main thing I kind of look for in a liner, because I'm not that great at it, and if I can find a product that helps me apply it, then that is always a bonus with me. So yeah, this one has been great, and I would definitely keep repurchasing this. Now for lashes, I haven't picked a pair of false lashes that I've liked the most, mainly because I am still kind of learning with false lashes. I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to false lashes, and yeah, I wouldn't want to recommend anything just yet because I'm still kind of finding my feet. But I do have a favourite mascara, and I think the best one I've tried this year is the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara, and I got this sample quite a while ago now, but I have really, really loved it, and I don't think I've found loads of mascaras I've loved this year, but I don't think I've found one I like more than this. And I just really like how it makes my lashes look. It's nice and lengthening and quite separating, but it still gives a little bit of volume as well. It gives a really nice finish to my lashes and it lasts all day as well. So that is my favourite mascara of 2017. Now the final product I have is a lip product. I didn't pick a lip liner only because I don't use them that often. So I just went in with kind of a lip colour or product. And I think my favourite of the year was this NYX lip lingerie in the shade Push Up. Yeah. Some people I know really don't like the formula of these, but for me personally, I think they're really nice. It's kind of like a whipped moussey texture, which kind of feels a bit thick on application, but for me, once they've dried down, they are so comfortable. So if you're not someone that likes the feeling of like a really drying liquid lipstick on your lips, then these are personally something I think you should try. They only come in like nude shades really, and this is the only one I've tried out of the range, but I definitely want to try more, and they last such a long time. I tend to find that the more comfortable kind of liquid lipsticks don't tend to last as long, but this for me I find lasts ages. I can kind of put it on and generally not have to worry about it for the rest of the day unless I'm doing something like eating a really greasy burger or something like that. So yeah, this was a difficult one for me to choose because I have tried loads and loads of different lip products this year, but I think this has to be my kind of go-to one that I've reached for the most, so that is why it's my favourite. So that is every single product I had to show you, and I hope you have enjoyed it and some of you have found it a bit interesting. I personally really enjoy watching other people's kind of year-end favourites. I just really like to be a bit nosy and see what other people love. So yeah, I thought I would put my 2 cents into the pot. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know some of your favourite products and what your favourite products have been for 2017. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye!